Get your money up for real. What the fuck we talking about?
Invest into your craft. Anyway.
Invest in yourself.
Invest into your craft. Okay.
The fuck.
Oh, I feel good. I don't know. I feel like new energy is coming. I'm also about to graduate.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I'm about to have 2 degrees.
Hell
Stop
yeah.
playing. Okay.
Educated black queen.
Okay, I'm going to do my intro, and then we're going to just get into it. Whew. Yes. Yes, like, we in the real deal, like.
Yeah, we in there.
Where the fuck you been? Bitch, I been at home, minding my business, filling up my king palm, smoking nonstop, saving up my bankroll, cause my mind too fucking crowded, so I stay fucking clouded. Nothing been the same since the 30th of May. Daddy told me keep it pushing, I'ma
What's
make
going on, y'all? It's G, the journalist with BabyTalkTV, and we're here on the Worth a Conversation podcast. You know what I'm saying? Now, before we get into it, can we just give it a one time for the setup, for the studio setup? Like, can we just give it a once? Because if you don't invest into your craft, what are you doing? It's 2024. We got to invest into the things that we want. Invest into our passions, okay? So now, we back on the Worth the Conversation podcast, and we here with a good Georgia creative, you know what I'm saying, Chyna Cloud.
Southside native, you feel me?
Yeah, she's not, and we on the Southside right now.
Southside shit.
So we know what it is. Anyway, we got to show love to the Southside. Chyna Cloud, man, it's good to have you. I really appreciate your time. Yeah, just give us a little spiel real quick. You know, you got to do your little spiel.
A little something. Okay, so my name is Chyna Cloud. I am a writer. I would say journalist because I do also have a podcast. An artist, an overall, people say creative. I'm an expressive. I have I'm a jack of all trades, if I say so myself. And I'm just here to spread awareness, spread education, spread love, most importantly, and here to grow as a human being just like everybody else. And I'm here to just talk a little bit about that in all aspects of my life.
Cool. I really appreciate you giving us just a little introduction. You said you're the jack of all trades, and it was crazy because I consider myself the G of all trades.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
God.
You feel me? G the journalist. Don't be stealing my shit. Anyway, so we here, you know, we back. Before I get into like the whole questions and Q&A, I just want to talk about just a little bit about how you doing. You know what I mean? Just how you feeling, how you things going for you mentally. How's life?
Life is lifing. I'm in a bit of a transitional period right now.
Okay.
I've been trying to get myself in the realm of, if you don't know, I've been working on an album that's going to drop in May, at the very end of May, actually, like on the 30th. And I finished it, and then all this other shit started coming up. Right. So I've just been sitting here staring at it like, okay. And then another thing happens. I'm like, okay. I'm like, can we, let's calm down.
Slow it down. Yeah,
like,
let's slow it down. Bring it back.
Yeah, so I've just been kind of letting God do what he, she, they need to do. And just been, you know, trying to go with the flow of everything, not taking everything personally. I'm in a short period of time, I've just been learning. So that's where I'm at. I'm just in a transitional period, but I'm blessed.
That's good. I think most people like that I've been encountered recently are in that transitional phase of their life. Even myself, like I'm about to graduate from college. To me, that's a transitional thing. You're talking about things going on with you and your album. Yeah. Some of my other friends, they're like, you know, getting their lives together. And so I think like that transitional thing is something that more people need to be talking about because it's like not everything has to be perfect or set in stone. You know, sometimes things change, sometimes things happen for a reason for that transition to happen. But I'm glad like you're in a place where you're doing okay, you know, and being that we talking about how we doing, I think we should start maybe with a little bit of mental health convo.
Absolutely.
You know, just between like us as black people with black women, you know, that conversation needs to be had. You know, check on your strong friends.
Check on your strong fucking friends, please. Check on them.
So kind of getting into it, you know, leaning into like mental health, how do you kind of cope with some of the things going on with you while you're in this transition?
I remember it took a while to get to this point, but I've been really leaning into the community that's been kind of building around me recently. I have a lot of different outlets because I was just kind of raised that way. Like I kind of, just a little tidbit, I have been dealing with mental health issues since I was like 12. So amongst that, my mom had me in therapy very early, which actually helped me a lot in the long run because I was able to know which things I was feeling were real and what wasn't, whether feelings are reality or they're not, and just being able to find different ways of coping. And a lot of that was writing. A lot of it is writing, whether it's just journaling or whether I'm writing poems or songs or even writing a book. It doesn't even matter which one. But I use writing a lot. But recently, now that I've been building a tribe of people that are supportive and, you know, have the same understandings as I do, I've been leaning a little bit more into them, not to a codependent way, but in a way like understanding, okay, there's sometimes you can take this to yourself and other times where you need people.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been struggling with because I'm always like, man, I'm a very much, well, if I got the problem, it don't need to be nobody else's problem type of person.
Yeah.
But after a while, it's like, okay, how long are you going to just kind of put that off just because you don't want anybody else to deal with it? People want to know what's going on. People that care. That genuinely care about you and need to make sure you're okay.
No, I definitely agree with what you're saying because low-key I'm like, are we living the same life? Because I'm like also like thinking about my community and thinking about even with my blog, like with Baby Talk, like making sure like the people that are there, even with yourself included, are people that, you know, can be leaned on in a way like we support each other. We're there for each other. It's not just this social media thing. It's an actual community. And in my personal life with my friends, I'm leaning more into having friends, if that makes sense. Because like just giving a little bit about myself, like, yeah, I'm opening up to everybody. Giving a bit about myself, like in my transitional period that we started out with, you know, I'm going through things as far as like a breakup and then leaving home because I'm from North Carolina. And so dealing with all of those things kind of within the last 2 years and leading up to this point, like where I'm about to graduate from GSU, it's like trying to have people around you, like you said, that care, that actually want to be there, that actually see the things that you're going through and are like, hey, like, it's okay. You know, it's okay for you to have the down days. It's okay for you to have, you know, not everything together. Like, it's okay. And so, like, I genuinely agree with what you're saying, like, trying to build that community and, like, sustain it, you know, because people are temporary, things are temporary, but also I think we long for this thing called permanence in the in those temporary things, and that's why we build these communities. Shout out to Kayla for putting me onto that TV show called Strange Planet where they talked about this. But
now I got a show to watch.
It's on Apple TV.
Okay,
it's on Apple TV. But yeah, they talked about like permanence and like because everything is so temporary, we look for that, and I think that's like in some essence connected to what we're talking about, having those people that we know will be there because not everything is going to be good.
Yeah, it's not.
You know, so yeah, I think that's dope, like that you're doing that and like sustaining that and can see that, because some people that can't see that and they just go through it like, no, I got it.
Yeah, I got it. That's kind of like, I kind of get it from my dad and my mom in a way. My mom, she was a little bit more open about it because she was she dealt with it, and she also she understood some things are not a child's business, but also they do need to have somewhat of an understanding of what's going on, so we can tend to ourselves and her how we see fit in that situation. My dad, he was just very much like, it's not that he wasn't like for himself, but that's a man thing. Like, men are very much, that's why it's important to talk about men's mental health too, because they're very quick to have their feelings written off and kind of push it aside because it's like, you're a man, you got this to do, you got that to do.
You can't be feeling all that.
Yeah. So my dad was very much kind of like that. He didn't act that way, but you could tell the certain things that he went through because he wasn't that willing to just be like, oh yeah, like I need help with this, I need this. He was like, no, I didn't. And that's where I got that mentality from. It was very like half and half. It wasn't. I can usually, that's what helped my self-awareness too. To when I'm sitting here like, oh, I need to handle this by myself versus, okay, I actually need to say something.
Yeah.
Because dealing with both parents, I'm like, okay, I kind of have to balance that out a little bit. Know when you need community versus when you need to that isolation in that time.
No, I get that, and I'm happy that you bring up your parents, because me and what I'm learning, because I'm in therapy and stuff like that. So like I'm recognizing some things that my parents, think, and it speaks to what you're saying. I think your example is dope though, because you had like 50-50 on it, and now that plays a part in how you see things now. Me, it was kind of like everybody independent, everybody like, we don't talk about feelings.
We don't do that.
We don't do that around here. Therapy?
Yeah.
Nah. So it's like growing and like unlearning those things, and trying to also like unlearn like the stereotypes about like the strong independent Black woman and all that type of stuff. And it sucks, because it's like when you're shown certain things, you can't help but to fall into a stereotype. But it's one thing to fall into it and perpetuate it, and then go to, or not perpetuate it, go to therapy and understand like, hey, you need a community, you need people, you know what I mean? So it's dope that you are exposed to that in a way with your parents, because I don't know if everybody gets that. So that's dope that you can also spread that knowledge here too.
Yeah, because I remember talking to my mom and my dad like a long time ago. This was like 5-6 years ago. I remember I had just started college, and I remember the more that I started to get to know people and talk to people, the more I sat here and I was like, I'm never going to complain about my parents again. I was like, I'm going to shut the fuck up, because there ain't no way. I was like, bro, my parents really like, of course not every parent is perfect.
Right.
But the way that they raised me and the things that they taught me individually, and it's so crazy because they were married and they got a divorce like when I was only like a few weeks old. Like I was really, really young. But they never acted like they had a divorce. Like they co-parented very, very, very well. They were even still friends. They still talked. They still hung out. Like, and when it came down to because the common denominator was me.
Right.
And that's exactly how they treated it. And they still loved each other a lot. It just wasn't going to work in that way.
Yeah.
And they put that to the side, and they taught me a lot just by that. And it's so crazy. They raised me as an individual, but I ended up, because they raised me as if I'm a person and not them, I ended up growing up to kind of be like them in a way, like in the right ways.
Yeah.
In the way that I think mentally, emotionally, like spiritually, all of that.
Yeah. And I hear that a lot. Like when I was listening to your podcast, it's like you're more aware of certain things, and that's dope because you're very direct about it. Yeah. And like it could offend some people, but I think it's dope because for me, it's like not right to it,
Yeah.
That for me, I'm like, yeah.
Let's get to the point.
Yeah, and then even like with the music, I was listening to some of your music, and there's some stuff in your music that is, directly to the point where it was, I think your song Clouded, where you was like, yeah, I'm not really trying to do all that bullshit because I got life going on.
Yeah, I got shit going on, bro. I literally wrote that right around the time. It was literally like a little while after my dad passed away. And I just remember I had like a month or two before that, I had totaled my car. So that was the first like red flag. Like I had to, God was really just trying to tell me to sit down. Yeah. He was saying like, you need to sit down and you're not listening. I hate to do it to you that way, but you're not listening. You're not listening. You're going to have to find out the hard way. I'm trying to be nice. And I wasn't listening. He was like, okay, car total, boom. Then it was just like, I already had to kind of be in a period of stillness anyway because of that. And then obviously my dad died. No. I'm like, absolutely not. Y'all aren't seeing me. Right. I don't know when y'all are going to see me. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Definitely. Like,
and everybody was understanding of that. But I just remember writing it because I was just like, everybody was hitting me up. And I remember, this is like a little off topic, but I remember the other week I had posted 555 on my story, and it was in regards to my messages. My messages, like the unread, said 555. My friend was like, how the fuck did you let your messages get to 555 messages? Yeah. And I was like, on some real shit, ever since my dad had passed away, I was very like, no. Yeah. That's how many people were also hitting me up during that time period because he was very loved and a lot of people like knew him and me. Yeah, and they were reaching out and I was like, I'm not reading all of this. I was like, I'm not reading all of this. I don't have time for it. So it was like while I was ignoring all those messages, I was like just kind of trying to hone in on craft a little bit because what I needed to do in the first place, but that's also what he would have wanted me to do if I'm taking that time to grieve and heal and take time to myself. Like, be productive out of it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, definitely. And also, I'm sorry about your dad passing away. I didn't know that about you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's about to be a year.
Okay.
Like, that's the death anniversary is when the album's dropping. It's a tribute to my dad.
Oh, okay, that's dope.
Yeah.
We can talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
You know, near the end, because that's like new music. You know. Yeah. But you know, I really appreciate you sharing. You know, how you worked through your transitions, and you know, giving that example, like how your parents were, and things like that. But I would say, like, another question that I have is like, do you think when it comes to mental health, and like already like there's a stigma, you know, with the Black community, but do you think there's even more of a stigma when it comes to Black women dealing with mental health?
Absolutely.
What's your perspective?
I feel like it's a little bit more understood with women as opposed to men. But because we're Black, that also adds that little bit of like, well, you're strong, you can do this, you can do that, da 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 da. And the thing is, like, of course we can.
Right.
We shouldn't have to, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't have to, as far as like how people push it onto us. Like, you're a Black woman, you got this to do, you got that to do. It's like, y'all acting like people cannot absolutely anywhere in their life have a breakdown.
Yeah.
That bottles up shit. And I hate that, because it's like people expect you to be a saint, be an angel, be all this all the time, especially women. Oh, women have to be soft all the time. They have to be, you know, together all the time. They should know how to be a lady. And it's like, in reality, if something pisses you off, if something depresses you, like, you're going to have a reaction. That's normal. And for you to completely, like, I feel like sometimes with women, we may have an outburst, and that will immediately equate to, oh, you're really, really ill, you need help, like, da-da-da-da-da. And it's not in every scenario, but in a lot of them, especially if they're extreme, because a woman can only hold it together for so long.
Right.
They can only hold it together for so long, especially if you see a woman blow up, like, or have, like, an episode. You don't know how long she had been keeping it together. There's some, like, if I see my mom crashing out, she mostly had been trying to hold it together for like a few months to a year at that point.
Yeah.
That's like, and I already know. And it's like, while it shouldn't have happened, I also understand if it's been bottling up, it's like, that's just the circumstances of the situation. And like I said, I grew to have that understanding. Some people don't, and they just assume that we're supposed to, there's an understanding, but it's like it's like a backhanded understanding to me. With most Black people, but especially Black women.
Yeah.
And even, I was talking about this literally the other day. I remember, like, because I saw a video on Instagram, and it was like, women go through like 5 different cycles in a month.
Yeah.
Like, emotionally. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, you know, that makes a lot of fucking sense. Like, why you might feel one way at the beginning of the month.
And then completely different.
Yeah. And it's like, it's too many changes. I remember there's also somebody tried to sit here and be like, oh, that's why it's hard for women to be CEOs. I'm like, I don't know about that. Relax. I was like, you better calm the fuck down. Right. Like, I don't know about that. But I do know that if you, me and my mom was talking about how in women dominated spaces, it can be a little bit more catty.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit annoying, because, you know, you want to support all women, especially in a workspace, or in a space like we're in. But sometimes there are moments when it's like women dominated. It can get catty. It can get weird. The energy can be off, and it's because we go through different cycles in a month, and certain things we might feel. Some people don't even know how to communicate either, so that's another thing
on top
added
of that.
to it. And it's like, it's too many loops thrown at us, and I wish people would have a little bit more of an understanding about all the depths that it is to be a woman. Yeah. Like, especially, and then it's Women's History Month. Yeah. I feel like we were just talking about that, and we were, like, a few weeks ago, we had Love at the Underground, and it was a versus, and it was the men versus the women. And I remember just leading up to it, it was so much shit. It was so much shit. It was so much fucking shit. And I was just like, I was like, the more I started thinking about, like, why are we doing this during Women's History Month?
Yeah.
And
What's
then
the point?
2 days before, it was International Women's Day. I was like,
damn.
I was like, we
really doing this, huh?
I'm like, we doing this for real? And they were like, we just trying to promote albums. I'm like, are you? I was like, what?
Marketing tactic.
Marketing tactic. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's crazy because the women showed out. They showed out. But I feel like leading up to it, you know, a lot of the conversations that I had with the girls on my lineup, it was a lot of understanding and unity built in that short period of time. And it made me realize, like, there is hope for women to have, like, better understandings of each other. It's just the world. It's just the world. And we just have to let the world be what it is and change it how we can.
Yeah. I always think, like, can certain people, or not even certain people, but can men or whomever sees, like, women and, like, think those things, like, oh, like you said, strictly escalated to something else, instead of, like, just understanding at a basic level, like, what it means or how it is to be a woman and how it can be a lot.
Yeah.
I think, like, people just need to empathize a lot more, especially with the Black women, you know, empathize a lot more. And then, like, like, back to what you said about, like, community and, like, being able to build that community with those artists in a short amount of time. That's important. You know, being able to do that, that's another thing when it comes to, like, holding each other, like, together and, like, being there for each other. So it's, like, dope that we can understand that and we can talk about it. And we're young, you know.
Right.
We sound like old folks maybe. but it's, like, we have to understand it now instead of later, because it could be to our detriment.
Right.
You know, so shout out to the Black women out there that's doing their thing.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
You are celebrated. You are loved. You are cherished. Please.
We love you.
We love you very, very, very much. Please
Yeah.
don't ever forget. Okay. Okay.
So thinking about, you know, working with, you know, artists and, you know, thinking about music, let's talk about the songs you've done. So we talked about Clouded a little bit.
Okay.
That was like a song about, listen, we just need to chill.
We just need to relax, please. I got shit to do.
And then we have your song Rod, which I really like. You were kind of like singing on that one.
A little bit.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Thank you.
And Miss Zodiac Killer, that one is dope. And it's like, okay, we taking it there. We doing the damn thing.
I really know for the past few weeks, I remember I had a show on the 8th of March, and I remember I had one of my artist friends, Sharticia, shout out to Sharticia. I had saw her. I was like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. She was like, hey. And she was like, what are you performing tonight? Just asking. And I was just like, oh, I'm not sure yet. She was like, we're not going to hear Miss Zodiac Killer from the Miss Zodiac Killer? What are you talking about? Right. And I was like, I hate that y'all are doing this.
Yeah, look, you put it out there for the people and now the people want it, okay?
I literally wrote that, like, it took me 30 minutes to write it because I was just like, he only named 4 zodiac signs. And everybody has heard me say this. Anybody who's talked to me personally has heard me say this. Like, he only named 4 zodiac signs. You can go back and listen to his song. Like, it's only 4. I was like, how you gonna name it Zodiac Killer? You know, I could do this. And I did it, like, just because I was bored. And I was like, I want to record it. And I was like, I just kind of want to drop it, just like some little fun shit. Like, I don't give a fuck. And then everybody started liking it a little bit more than I thought they would. And I was like,
I was just playing.
I really was. I was like, I was just playing.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't even fucked a Scorpio before. I've never fucked a Scorpio.
You know what it's giving? It's giving Young Nudie when he had dropped Peaches and Eggplants. He was like, I don't even know why them folk like that stupid ass song.
Right, it was just a stupid ass song. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, it's just one of them songs. It's just like, it got some bounce.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. And then I think, like, the way you are on the track and, like, how you go through the Zodiacs and, like, name and all that type of stuff, I think that really draw people in. Yeah. And then, of course, it's, like, a little, you know, vulgar, but we love that.
Yeah, a little bit. I tried to... A little bit.
It's a little spicy. People love spice, you know.
Yeah, just a little bit.
You know, so I think that's probably why. But of course, you talk to your folks and they tell you why they like it. But I'm just, from my perspective, when I'm listening to it, I'm like, okay, spicy. Okay, girl, going through all this Zodiac.
Yeah, all of them. Because I was like, and then, you know, I shortly, before I put it out, I thought about it for a split second.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hope nobody actually thinks I just was fucking all these zodiac signs.
Right.
I'm like, I literally no, like it just made sense.
Right.
I literally would just like
It's just one of those songs, you know.
Yeah, like some of the lyrics, it was like I said fucking Aquarius and I said Libras are jokes, so hilarious. And like I remember my friend Zamina was like, she was like, what did I do?
No, that's facts though, because I used to talk to this Libra when I used to live in North Carolina. Joke. Hilarious. Joke.
It was like I don't even think all Libras are jokes. I think they are funny. Like they all have a sense of humor. But like as far I was literally just coming up with shit. I was like, what rhymes with Aquarius? And I was like, hilarious. And I was like, Libras are jokes, so hilarious. And then I was like, I gotta do Scorpio next. I was like, I can say his dick game is a nefarious, but I don't even. I mean, I don't know, but it goes together.
Pretty accurate. I'm saying for you to like be playing and me listening to them, like these descriptions, some of them, they fit.
They do. They do. I was like, it gotta make sense, but like not from experience.
Playful, yeah.
I was like, not from experience, just because it made sense to put together.
I'll tell you what, you did it. They might believe you, but you did it, and we know the truth. If anybody wants to know the truth, listen to the podcast.
Damn.
I'm just saying, in case they did have their assumptions. Yeah. Just come over here and
please, just listen. Hear me out. Hear me out, please. I try my best.
Okay, so check this out. This might be random, but being that we're talking about music, do you sing in the shower?
Oh yeah, all the time.
What you be singing?
I be singing. I be acting like I'm just the top vocalist in the country.
Oh hell!
I be having world
tours
in
the shower.
For real, I be singing Jasmine Sullivan like I can sing. My mom be knocking like, "Hey, sweetie."
Hey, shut the fuck up.
For real, she'll be like, "Hey, hun, I need you to relax." Like real quick, I just need you to just calm down. Okay, cool. Just a tad. Like
we got Jasmine Sullivan on the shower playlist.
We got Mary J. Blige, like old Mary J. Blige.
Okay.
I got Summer Walker.
Okay, cool.
You gotta throw some.
So be real R&B vibes in the shower. Okay.
I love R&B a lot. That's kind of like when I first started doing music. I really wanted to sing. I still do. Yeah. It's just that I have baby lungs and and I really need vocal training, and I keep saying this, and some of the things I can learn by myself, but I'm like, nah, I really feel like I need a professional vocal coach, because it's like the potential is there. And even all of my artist friends who are singers, they told me it's like it's there. You like it just needs to be molded a little bit, but it's not bad at all. And I believe that. I'm just trying to get it to where I want it to be at, but it was so frustrating at first. I was about to give up. Yeah. But then I just thought about it, and I was like, well, you wanted to rap too, but you were so resentful to rap because you were just like, you really just want to like sing, but it's like you can do both. Yeah. You know you can do both. So like, how about you rap? And you can, implement singing and like work your way up there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's about progression. And it's like when you do this, I don't think everybody expects to be like perfect on the first time. But I know like some of us have that perfectionist mindset to be like, damn, like I really want to make it right before I do it. And so it's great that you're taking that approach to be like, you know what, I can do this thing here and like slowly work on it in order to make it where I want it to be. And that's cool, because when I heard your song Ride, I'm like, okay, she's singing. She's singing, okay.
Just a little bit, just a tad.
So it's like, doing that type of thing and hearing those vibes, I think that's a good start, you know what I mean? So it's like, you on the right track, you doing the thing. It sound good.
Thank you. Because the first couple of things I recorded, like, I started officially recording music in 2022, so it's only been 2 years. Yeah. Like, and them first couple of tracks, man. Oh, yeah.
Man, me being around some artists, I be knowing.
Yeah, it was. I don't know why my friends was trying to lie to me like that. I was like, let's be for real. Like, let's be real. It's not even like, oh, I suck. It's more like, girl,
Yeah,
I need
better.
Yeah, like I could do better. Like they be like, stop downplaying yourself. I'm like, I'm not downplaying myself. I'm being realistic. Like you hear this shit. I'm not even trying to be funny. People will always say that. They'll be like, stop downplaying yourself. I'm like, I'm not downplaying myself. First of all, I think I'm very fine, but let's not think we're so fine that we're above needing some work.
Yeah,
or we're above needing some help
Yeah.
or anything like that, I'm gonna be the first to say it. Like, and I'll say it about myself. I'll say it about anybody else. Like, it don't matter who. Like,
It's
it don't
always
matter.
room for improvement.
Yeah, always. And it's like, it's not even on some I suck shit. It's on some shit like that could literally be better. That there's no way that y'all think I'm finna get away with that. That's no.
No, I definitely understand that. So I'm gonna just hop into my shower playlist.
Yeah. Go ahead.
When I get in the shower, honestly, it depends on what mood I'm in when I'm in the shower. Because we're both Cancers. And I meant to ask you, are you June or July?
I'm July.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Are you June?
I'm July.
You're July?
Yeah.
Oh, which day?
16th.
16th. Oh, you 6 days after me. I'm 10th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But we still cool.
Okay, cool.
Cancer club.
Yeah, the June Cancers be a little different though.
I love them.
They cool, but they do be a little different.
They just different. they're just different. That's it. I still love them. But it also depends.
Yeah.
It depends. But that's people.
Yeah.
You know, as someone who really like studied astrology for a long period of time, like a good 4 or 5 years of my life, the more I started to actually get to know people. And then also when I was in school, my major was psychology. I'm going back, but I had to take a break.
Yeah.
But my major was psychology. Between astrology and psychology, as I looked at both, I was like, honestly, it really don't even of course, zodiac signs do have certain traits and you do notice them, but they apply in different ways. That also just has to do with that person and how they think.
Yeah.
So it's like, more likely than not, I've met 50-50 of every single sign. Like, I met some really, really dope Sagittariuses, and some of them I want to kick in the nuts. I met some dope ass Cancers, and the other half of the Cancers, I'm like, y'all can go to hell. Like, very much so, you can go to fucking hell.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's the same with Leo, same with all of them. So it's like, some of them just fucking suck because they suck in character, they suck in morals, they suck at all that shit. And others even if they have certain traits, it's like they know how to use them in positive ways, or they know how to properly, enforce boundaries, or all the different traits that a certain sign may have. Like, they know how to do those things properly and in a way that's not manipulative or weird.
Yeah.
Or negative, all that shit.
Yeah, no, I understand. To me, it is a little cool though. It's almost like when they do match up, it's like, oh, that's kind of cool because it's like you like your sign. But I do agree with what you're saying. Like, it's a people thing. Yeah. Like, how do you act? How's your character? So I see that, but it's like, I found a magical creature because you fit the description.
Yeah, you fit the description. I be thinking that all the time. Like, you are Aries. You do act like that. I'm like, of course you act like that. What the fuck, man? It's not the hell. It's like, I should have known.
Right. But no, I guess my mood does determine what I listen to in the shower. But lately, I've been listening to Tia Corinne. She got this song called Young Jock, and of course her song Freaky T. Yeah. She from North Carolina. And then what else I've been listening to? Murray. I've been listening to him. He from North Carolina. Who else?
I haven't listened to that much of Murray. I only heard I think it was 2 years back. I think that song he did 2 years back, and I could not escape it. I was like, bro, please, because it just kept playing every day on somebody's radio. Yeah. Just driving past me in a store. I was like, bro, please, can we just?
I mean, he got a couple good songs. He's a good singer. I met him before.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so he's actually talented. It's not like he putting out all BS or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. He just got the good voice. I think his voice is good. Yeah. So I like listening to him and singing his songs. But I also like the older music, what's that song? Don't wake me, I'm dreaming. Girl, don't wait. Yeah, I be listening to shit like that in the show. I be in that be lit
No, I understand.
If I was in the club back then,
man,
get me off the dance floor. Woo.
For real. I understand though, but I also feel like back then I would have been. Well, I really be doing. You know what it is? I be hearing people say they come to Atlanta. They be like, "Oh, people don't want to dance no more." I'm like, you ain't going to the right place.
Hey.
You ain't going to the right place because I'll bust it.
I'll
move real quick. What the fuck?
Bruh, yeah, I do agree though. You gotta go to the right place. Like I went to this place on Friday. They had like this Y2K party that bitch. They was in there moving. I was like, oh shit.
Like you just gotta
Right, get you one good drink. Hey.
Yeah, and everybody like it's a problem if everybody else dancing and you sitting over here on the wall or some shit. Like
get the fuck off the wall.
Like I'll be hearing that shit all the time in songs. I never knew what the fuck they were talking about. Then I got in environments where we lit, we jive and have a good time.
Yeah,
niggas on the wall. I'm like, bitch, if you don't get your ass.
It make you angry. Why the fuck are you
like,
not
what
dancing?
What are you doing, nigga? Like, are you miserable? Like, you don't even gotta dance. You can at least just be vibing. You sitting over here like,
do a 2-step, please. Fuck.
A 2-step. Do the worm. I remember I saw some other shit. It was like somebody made a status on Facebook and reposted it. They were like, man, I hate niggas that have no personality. Like, please, like, do the jerk. What the fuck? And I was like, I felt that shit in my chest.
Bruh, at random, like, come on, like, what are we doing here?
Like, let's do it. Like, come on.
Bruh, that's so lame. But I guess, like, thinking about music and, like, getting into the idea. You told me like you got into music a little early on, where you start when you was writing and stuff, right? Back when you was a kid, you said. Yeah. Was that like your introduction to maybe music too? As far as like writing music,
because when I say I'm a jack of all trades, I really like have a lot of things that I did, and one of them is like I played trumpet and guitar for about like 8 years, and then I sat here. I remember my mom would always be playing R&B around our house, like not even just on cleaning days. We all had like the cleanup Saturdays and shit. She would just be playing it in general, like just playing Alicia Keys, everything all around the house. And I always wanted to learn how to play violin and piano, and I learned how to paint from my dad, because he was an artist, and my mom was a writer, and so when I was like really young, like I think like around 1st, 2nd grade, I started just like doing it for fun, just doing like whatever. And it got to a point by the time I got to 5th grade, I was beating out entire counties for like writing tests and stuff. Yeah. Like, and I didn't even think that deep into it. I was just like doing whatever the fuck. I remember it so vividly too, because I was like in 5th grade, we had this fucking writing part of the test, and it was like write a story about a place you want to go to. And I was like, oh, Africa. And I wrote it. I thought it was pretty plain and simple. I didn't think it was that that amazing. I was just like, oh, like cool.
That's usually how it goes. Like, I put it out.
Yeah, I just put it out there. Like I was like, oh, this is gonna get me an A. I was like, this is gonna give me a solid A. They sitting here calling my mom. They're like, hey, yo, she like got the highest score in the county for that. And I was like, huh? I was like, I just wanted an A. I was like, I just wanted an A.
I'm trying to pass the test, man.
Yeah, I'm literally just trying to pass the test. But that also, when I was that age, helped me realize, like, maybe if I honed in on this a bit, like it could be better. Yeah. And it's the goal was always elevation, even as a child. Even as a kid, like I told you, I was sitting here like I just wanted an A. Yeah. Like I just want to keep getting A's. Like that's it, and maybe an A+, like some shit like that. But it was always elevation. So when I started writing, music, I started writing songs specifically when I was like 8. And of course they were. I mean, what do you expect? Yeah, like what you expect from an 8-year-old, bro?
I don't
know
what you about to say, but I already get you 8 years old.
Yeah, I'm 8. Like what the fuck? Like there's not too much. Yeah, you can expect from an 8-year-old for real. Like it's just not too much. But it's like for me starting, I might take breaks, but I never stopped. And I think the direction of music, it did waver. I think, but the more I did guitar, the more I started writing songs a lot more, because I started playing guitar. I got my first guitar when I was 6, but I didn't start playing seriously until about 13. Okay. It's about like 13, 14, something like that. And the more I started learning and playing guitar, the more I started writing a lot more music, but writing poems and books and essays and scripts and stuff, that was just natural for me as I grew older, and even now. But music just became more prominent the more I started to hone into it more, because even when I played trumpet, I was just playing fucking, like, I was learning Titanium by Sia on the fucking trumpet. Like, I would be getting there.
Was it like recreational or using like band?
I was in band.
Okay.
But I also did it recreational too, because I would come early in the morning to school so I could be in the band room and just like do songs I wanted to do. Like, I was playing Mario on the xylophone just for fun, like the little theme song. I was learning the SpongeBob, you know, that little score in there that's like dun, 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 dun.
Which one? Oh, wait.
In SpongeBob.
I'm trying to think. Are you talking about the more upbeat one, or because this one?
This
like,
one they were like.
na, 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 na.
I know which one you're talking about. I wanted to learn that. I wanted to learn that one, but it was the one. It was like they were on patrol. They were on patrol, and they were like,
on patrol.
Yeah. It was that one. It was like they were on patrol, and they were like looking around and stuff. They were sneaking around Bikini Bottom. I learned that on the guitar, on a bass guitar.
Crazy. That shit crazy as
Yeah,
fuck.
I always used to do shit like that. Everybody's like, "Why do you keep playing stupid shit?" And I was like, "Cause I just want to."
Bro, that
like,
shit crazy. Man, shout out to SpongeBob.
Shout out to SpongeBob for real. SpongeBob really helped me.
Us.
He really raised me.
Us.
He raised us. He helped me be the woman that I needed to be. He kept winning Kids' Choice Awards, and that's why I was like, I'm gonna be like SpongeBob when I grow up. Every time he won that shit for 8 years straight.
Hey, I'm 10 toes for my boy.
10 toes. 10 toes, man. If you got a problem with SpongeBob, fuck you. We'll jump you.
Bruh, that's funny as fuck. But that's so cool that you were like exposed to that. I was in band too growing up. I wasn't like, you seem like almost like a musical genius almost in a way, but I was like in band, I got my music going. I played clarinet. I thought I was Squidward. Yeah,
I want to play saxophone really bad.
Really?
I really want to play saxophone, but I don't know if this was a racist thing because I went to a predominantly white middle school, but I don't know if it was a race thing. But I remember my band teacher was like, "Oh no, you're playing trumpet." What? I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "I mean,
What's
I'll
wrong
take
with
it."
Saxophone?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, "I mean, I'll take it," but like,
what was the reason?
What was the reason? Like, you got a problem? Like, what the fuck?
Hey
like,
man, if you're watching this, what was the reason?
Mr. Milton.
What was the reason, Mr. Milton?
Mr. Milton, for real.
We
like,
coming for you.
For real. Like, what the fuck?
We have a musical genius here, and all she wanted was saxophone.
All I wanted was to play saxophone.
Okay.
Well, to be fair, I want to play everything.
Well,
to be fair,
even still, you should have gave her the opportunity. Okay.
Yeah, for real. But I still ended up falling in love with playing trumpet. I still miss playing trumpet to this day. It's to a point now where I gotta reteach myself. I gotta redo embouchure and all that crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like, but I really wanted to learn how to play every single thing. And I guess that's how much I liked music. And I love not just music, but also just creating things and like being able to put things together and make things like, I love the process.
Yeah.
I love the process, and I love like watching something you did come out good.
Yeah.
Like come out like the way you want it to. Not even like anybody else. Like I may ask an opinion, but at the end of the day, if I like it, man.
Yeah, that don't really matter.
Man, fuck y'all.
It don't really matter.
Not fuck y'all, but fuck y'all. Like for real, it's like it is what it is.
Yes, I mean, I guess so. Thinking about like you thinking about like your music career now and getting into being an artist, rapping, singing. How do you feel about your music? Like, I guess like, what is the favorite thing about your creation and getting into that?
That's a good question. I feel like a lot of time when I write music, it either comes from one or two places. It's either I got something I need to get off my chest, or it's like I hear the potential of something and I ride off of that. So a lot of the time there'll be songs that like I'll hear a beat and I'll be like, I got to do something with that. That's fine. And I'll just like make little like melodies or whatever and go off writing off of that. And I feel like a lot of the time when I'm in that space to create, I'm not just finding what sounds good, but what sounds good to me as well. Because everybody has their own interpretation of how they could go about, especially music, but how they could go about it. Because I remember even when I was talking about that Love at the U show, the women, we decided to put together a cipher. Oh. And it was 5 of us. And
I feel like I seen that.
you
on
did,
Instagram,
yeah, probably somewhere, because everybody, like, I didn't even expect it to. I expected it to shake everybody up,
Yeah.
but I didn't expect it to like go off the way that it did, like the way
it was a bunch of posts, I think, and I think I saw y'all, and so I was like, oh shit, that's dope as fuck, because I haven't been to a Love You show in a minute, and I was like, oh, that's dope as fuck. So yeah, I think I seen it on Instagram.
Yeah, and it was like, I remember leading up to it. I remember like Priestess was talking about, shout out to Priestess. Priestess was talking about how we were all like different elements and stuff like that, and you could hear it. Like they were talking about how if I'm not sure if you've ever like seen No perform or know who I'm speaking of, but she's a very, very talented MC. And she was talking about how she almost raps in cursive. And she was like, with me, you remind me of like fire, like the element of fire, because you just are straight with it. It's like, it's
direct,
this. And then it's like our friend Sunrisa, she comes from a very grounded, very earthy perspective. And hearing how it all our verses came out, it's like, it's so different, but it went together. And I think that's also something I celebrate about music. It's like, you could come up with a bunch of different ideas, you put them together the right way, it's gonna
sound good.
Yeah, it's gonna sound good, like, and not even just good, but like, it's gonna be meaningful and sound good. Like, it's meaningful for you to even be able to do this. I think we also underestimate our abilities a lot when it comes down to this, because it's like, people really are out here scared to perform. People are scared out here scared to invest in their businesses, like take themselves seriously. People are scared to be able to do these things, even if they are extremely and overly capable of it. So when I'm sitting here diving into my craft more, and that goes for anything, that's like music, painting, writing, like anything like that, I'm sitting here like, oh, like, I feel like I'm really taking steps. Like, like I said, I'm all about evolution and elevation. It's like I feel like I'm becoming higher parts of myself as I'm creating, like as a soul, as a being, as a woman, all that. And I think that's why I approach it the way that I do, and why I love it the way that I do. And, you know, I feel blessed to even be able to want to do that, because as much as I love doing things, I also don't like doing things. Sometimes if I don't want to do something, I'm not finna.
That's the human part of us, though, you know, to not want to do stuff. So, or not want to do stuff, to be like, I say, a little bit more selfish. So like, maybe I don't want to do that thing because, you know, not feeling it or whatever. Yeah.
And a lot of the community I've been around, they've been very understanding of that double, like that balance of it, because my friend Amina, let her tell it, she'll be so quick if we have me, and she's like, listen, listen, y'all could decide y'all don't want to come, and that's okay. Like, y'all could, people don't feel like doing shit. Like, I don't feel like doing shit neither. And it was the first time I heard somebody actually say that, which is crazy. Like, I've said it before, but like hearing her say it,
it validates it.
Yeah, it validates it, because like, I'm like, she like thinks the way that I do. She was like, yeah, like I'm not expecting y'all to always
be on go.
Yeah, want to do shit. Like, man, people got shit to do. Like, people got shit to do. We got stuff to do. Like, if you want to do it, cool. If you don't want to do it, cool. We ain't mad at you. Just tell us what it is.
Yeah.
Which I'm very much like that. I'm like, just say what's going on so I can figure out what I need to do. Like,
thinking about, like, you know, your music, and say like how you talk about the cipher, and like, you know, people describing your style as like the fire and stuff like that. That kind of brings me to like your sound, and like leaning more towards like your podcast, if that makes sense. Like, to me, like, that's very accurate. Like, there is this fire about you, and I feel like your style of rap, it gives, like, you know, of course, like a little bit more on the conscious side. I don't want to like describe you as somebody, but you do have like this like reminiscence of like No Name in a way.
Really? That's actually a huge compliment to me.
So, you know, I'm feeling that, you know, like, as far as like when I was listening to especially I think Clouded, that was kind of like what I was getting. And I was like, this is dope. Like, I could get behind this.
You can get behind it.
You know? But like, thinking about that, like, direct, straightforward style and how you just like say what it is, but it comes off in like this melodic tone. That brings me to your podcast, and I was listening to a couple episodes on the way here and this morning, just to do my little research, you know.
Y'all about to hear some things.
No, I just wanted to know, like, why did you get into it? You know, because like the topics you talk about, you have stuff dealing with like love and boundaries in your sex life, you know, self-awareness, religion. You have a lot of like pretty broad, like not broad, but like in a way broad topics.
Yeah.
So like, what made you kind of get into talking about these things?
I just remember I had the idea to do a podcast in 2020, but everybody was doing them. Everybody's still doing them. And I'm just like, fuck.
You just got to get out there
at this point. And it was like, what made me not do it at first was because I have this it's so annoying. I really just don't be wanting to be like everybody else. And sometimes it holds me back in a sense of like, okay, fuck everybody else. Like, if you want to do it, then do it, you know? But it's also like, I'd be like, I don't want to look like them. I don't want to look like them.
That's the realest thing, like, I've probably heard in a while, because it's like, I'm like that too, because it's like, damn, like, is there going to be room for me? Because it's like, everybody's doing it.
But I had to remember, especially when I got into music, I had to remember, I was like, there is opportunity for everybody. And it's like, and then I started to think more about what my mission was, just like, and my purpose is on earth. Because it's so crazy. I remember hearing a whole bunch of shit like recently. It's not shit, but like people have been congratulating me, and they've been like, I'm so glad that you found your purpose as far as music goes. And I'm like, music is an outlet for my purpose, but it is not my whole purpose. Yeah. And I'm not about to explain that to everybody, because, you know, it's like, not everybody want to hear that, you know, all the time. But it's like, I just know that the music is not it's not the thing for me. Yeah. It's not what I am here to do. Right. Like, music just helps me do the things that lead me further into my purpose. It's like the stepping stones into my purpose, and they help me, like I said, evolution, elevation. So it's like with a podcast, I just remember feeling like I've learned so much in the short span of time that I've just been on earth. Like, and even my mom always would talk about how I have a different understanding of things for somebody who is my age. Yeah. And she was like, I hope that you can find people that that can kind of be on that level with you, so you can understand. They'll most likely be older. And she was semi-right about that. Some of them are older, some of them aren't. She's like, they'll most likely be older, but I want you to be around people that really get you. Well, for a long time, I wasn't. And I learned a lot out of that. That saying that they're either a lesson or a blessing is really, like, real. And sometimes they both. We don't talk about that. Sometimes they're both. Because I've learned so many things from my interactions with people and my interactions in life and my personal life that made me have different understandings of a lot of different things and a lot of different loopholes. And I feel like people don't think about these things when I sit here and I'll talk to them about it. Yeah. People just want to think from one perspective. Right. And even when they're open to hearing the one perspective, they're not open to understanding the one perspective, the other ones.
Yeah, being able to, like, empathize in a way.
Yeah, like, they're just like, man, and you can always agree to disagree, but to understand is something completely different. Like, and having that understanding keeps a lot of peace in your life. And a lot of people aren't willing to look at that either. They would rather just be like, I'm standing 10 toes on this, and all of y'all can go to hell. And I'm like, to a degree, you can do that. But as a human, as somebody who claims to be spiritual, as somebody who claims to be a person that's trying to change the world, you can't be like that. Right. You just can't. It's not possible. Now, should you be talking to every single person or trying to reach every single fucking person? No, the people who get it and understand, they will come. But in the hopes of that, if you get to, I remember somebody said to me a long time ago, somebody's mom, they were like, if you're speaking to a crowd of people and one person listens, they'll go back and tell maybe like 5 people. And that one person will bring 5 people back. You got 6 people. And then somebody might be walking along, don't even care about the topic at hand, but hear you say it and how you approach it. And they're like, they tell somebody else. And it's like the cycle goes on that way.
Yeah.
And it's like the way that you can approach the change is just by like speaking the truth most of the time and being open to the fact that your truth isn't the truth either.
Yeah.
Like just being understanding of all the sides of it. And I think that's the place I was coming from with the podcast and why I also kind of formatted it the way that I did, like the titles, like this, sincerely a stress cancer. And then when you hear it, like it's 30 minutes to an hour of me just going through all the different ways that it can apply, where it can't apply, like how it can be different. And there's even some episodes that I think about right now. I'm like, my entire viewpoint has changed on that too. Yeah. Like, and well, some parts of it. And I'm like, I'd be happy to go back and retouch on it. And even when I was doing them consistently, after every 3 episodes, I did a live on my Instagram where I would let everybody tell me their opinions about the topics we talked about so far. Because I sat here and it was straight up say, like, I don't mind somebody telling me they feel like I'm wrong. I don't mind somebody sitting here telling me they feel like I'm semi-right. Like, I don't care. I opened this up so that this can be an open discussion. Right, because I'm open to knowing that I could look at it differently. Yeah. And that's always been my point of things, always. Like, so that was kind of the starting of why I wanted to do it.
Yeah, no, I understand that. The episodes I was listening to, it was the one about where you talked about Black folks choosing oppression, and then the one with healthy sexual boundaries. Yeah. And
that Black people choosing oppression one is like the people.
I know
they weren't happy.
It's okay happy. Because it's like we could just talk about that one a little bit and then I'll move to the next thing. But I just think with that one, I liked it because it, like, for me, gave me a different perspective. Honestly, as far as like, okay, when I read it, I'm like, okay, and then when you said it. And you was like, this is how they do it, like trying to please the white man in a way, you know what I mean? Or continuing to perpetuate certain systems. Right. And not holding themselves accountable. I'm like, okay, I can see that. You feel me? Like, I can understand that. But I felt like some of the things, and I feel like you're very educated in your, your research and all that and what you're talking about. I don't disagree or nothing like that. But I think, like, just from my perspective, after listening, I was like, this is, like, dope. But I think to add to the conversation is, in our community, sometimes there is, like, this lack of knowledge. And I think that can impact the reason why they want to please the white man.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? And so I think, like, with that lack of knowledge, and sometimes it's, like, deliberate. Other times it's like niggas just don't want to read a book. You know what I mean?
They don't, like.
But I'm just thinking more on the system side, like the deliberacy of a lot of things and how they break up our neighborhoods, and like how, like, you talked about, we need to invest more so in our own communities. It's like, I feel like with that lack of knowledge, it's like, for instance, like thinking about like Tulsa when they had like the Black Wall Street. It's like we have the things, we have this power within us, like you were speaking about. Right. It's just like when you had asked, like, what are y'all afraid of? And I think it's like the systems and that lack of knowledge about, if we do this thing, what could be the consequence? Not saying everything gonna be bad, but I'm just saying, thinking about the people that paved the way for us to have the thing. Say, for instance, a Black Wall Street. Yeah. That shit got towed down by white folk. Yeah. You feel me? Like, they killed us because we just wanted to be successful. Exactly. So I think, like, incorporating more knowledge into our communities could help us, like, create, safer stuff. Like, so the white folks just can't get mad and tear it down. You feel me? And then, like, just how can we get back to doing the things? How can we get back to a thing of disrupting systems? How can we hold ourselves accountable? We be like, hey, like, why do you keep doing this thing over here when you can be doing it over here? Exactly. And so it's not a thing of like, I'm trying to debate. I just feel like to add to your argument, I think there's a lack of education in our communities. And it sucks because it's like, I'm glad we're here talking about it, but it's like, I want other people to maybe listen to your podcast and just listen with an open ear instead of like, what the fuck is she talking about?
Yeah, because honestly, I knew that's exactly what the fuck happened. Everybody, they didn't want to hear. They didn't even want to hear that shit. They sat here, saw the title, they were like, "Oh hell no!" I was like, like, I'm sorry, hold up, just hear me out. Listen.
Because that's how it caught me for a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. And so me being who I am, though, I'm like, let me just listen, as like a journalist, as like somebody that has never heard it before. Let me just be open. Just to kind of wrap back up what we were saying about your podcast, I think like to add to your argument of what you're presenting, we need more education in our field. And I think people need to stop being scared to educate themselves. I think that answers your question from my perspective. When you like, what y'all afraid of? What y'all scared of? And
no,
I'm like,
I was really annoyed because I was like, but also now that it's been 2 years since I did that.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting here like thinking about it. I'm like, now I know what I know.
Yeah.
A lot of it's a lot of different things that play a play. And I touched on them a little bit, like how some people, it's not even just jealousy or like an envy thing or like a pride thing. Some people, they just don't know how to work with other people and don't have the knowledge on how to properly run certain things, and that might be stopping them. Like I know people who are moving to Africa right now to help kind of do the work that they're trying to teach here, but they feel like they can't do the groundwork here as opposed to what they could do in Africa. Yeah. And that was through education, like, and they decided to do that together as a family because they're married. But they decided to do that as a family, especially after they had a kid, to educate themselves on how to be more alkaline and how to live off land, and not only that, how to teach it to others to where they can build a community where they're only like working with each other and like building a strong student foundation. And it was really dope to hear him talk about that. Shout out to Jakku. But it was really dope to hear him talk about that. And I feel like as time has gone on since then, I've thought about like, wow, there's so many ways that we could be pouring into each other. But I do feel like there is a lack of education on it. There is a lack of willingness to like work together on it. It's a lot of different factors that play into it. But I feel like, to your point, if we were more open to those things, then it would be a lot better for us to work as a community. And not only that, like, we could really get rid of a lot of systems if we really, really wanted to. Yeah. Like, if we really wanted to. But not everybody's on that, and that's okay. That's why I always say, like, what's for people is for people. Like the people who need to be around you, the people that need to know these things, the people that want to do what you're doing, like you're gonna reach them. And the number of those people, you just have to see. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. So I hate to do it, but we're coming to a close, guys. Yeah. So the last thing I want to ask you about is, we talked about the podcast a little bit. You be talking about some real raw, honest shit that I fuck with, and I had to give my little 2 cents or whatever. I understand. I understand. And I like that. And so thinking about like moving forward and, getting back into the things that you want to get back into and you're passionate about, are we getting more podcast episodes? Yes, we are. I just have to, oh my gosh. When I said life has been lifing, it's been lifing. I was supposed to start back doing podcasts last month, but I realized, I'm like, I don't want to be jumping all over the place because I'm still trying to finish this album. And I was like, I'm trying to be careful about how I do this because I don't want to overwhelm myself and then I give half-assed work because I'm overwhelming myself. Yeah. And I also wanted to introduce new things to the podcast. I wanted to have like music reviews and I wanted to do that with like guests and stuff. I wanted to have interviews. I wanted to do all those things, but I was like, I really was trying to find the proper space and the proper time to be able to do these things. But I'm definitely trying to get this back wrapped up and together because I miss it and I want to expand so much, like as a brand, and like I said, as a woman, like I want to hear people's opinions. I want to see my own perspectives change. I want to approach new topics. Like I'm really excited about that. I just have been trying to, in fact, I sat here and said after I might do a throwaway tape like for my birthday. Okay. But other than that, I was going to like take a little rest from music because that's what it's been. That's just what it's been for like 2 years. Just like music. And so much so that the podcast kind of got like pushed to the side, and I have to find a whole new way to approach it now. So I was like, I'm gonna make sure I'm wrapping up music stuff for right now, so I could kind of focus on the podcast a little bit more and other things I need to do. Like, I need to go back to school. I need to go back to school. I need to, like, sit here. I'm trying to do adult things, I'm trying to make sure my family's straight, and I gotta do all those things, and I'm trying to figure out how to properly balance everything out.
Yeah.
So I was like, once I drop this album, and I might do a little tape with all my little unreleased shit for my birthday, and other than that, I was just gonna take a break for the rest of the year. Like, if I do other things, like other endeavors, it would more likely than not be features.
Okay.
But I just the podcast episodes are coming. We're just in a redirect. We're in transitional. We're in a transitional. Yeah.
Okay, that might be the name of this episode. Working through transition, a conversation with Chyna Cloud.
Yeah, I feel like that would be nice. I would like that.
So we already kind of talked about the new music, but this is like the little last thing. But you say you're working on an album. It's dedicated to your dad. Again, your condolences.
Thank you.
We expecting that in May.
In May 30th.
We sure? We solid? Okay, because we're going to be looking for it.
May 30th.
Okay.
May 30th.
Y'all heard that?
May 30th.
Holding her to it now. All
May
right.
30th. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I swear.
All right.
I swear.
I'm going to be looking for it. I'm going to support best way I know how and can. But yeah, like, I really appreciate you sitting down with me and us just having a conversation. I feel like we talked about some good perspectives and, like, learned something. You know, I feel like I learned something from you. Maybe you learned something from me. I really don't know.
I feel like you
what
learned.
I'm doing a little bit. So if you learned something,
I learned something from you. I also really appreciate you sitting down with me to have this conversation. I really appreciate it. I had fun. It was good to connect with you on a deeper level. I'd only met you
through the show.
Yeah, through the show, like, one at a time. And I was really excited to do this with you. I was a little nervous when I first came in.
Yeah, because we got a studio.
We got a studio. Why, That's why. It's the real shit.
Yeah.
We doing real shit over here.
But yeah, I appreciate your time. Let the folks know where they can find you. Make sure you plug that podcast now.
I'm going to plug it in. But you can follow me on Instagram at chai.waves, CHAI.WAVES. Chyna Cloud. It's also Chyna Cloud on streaming platforms. And if you want to listen to my podcast, it is called Sincerely a Stressed Cancer. Sincerely, a Stressed Cancer on Spotify. On Spotify.
Spotify. Y'all, I really hope y'all tune into both of our podcasts. Shout out to Chyna for being here today and sitting down with me, G the journalist, and having a good old conversation, because everything is worth the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Hence the name of the podcast. Make sure y'all follow at that's BabyTalkTV, the correct spelling. We don't do incorrect grammar. But yeah, I really appreciate you hanging out with me today on the Southside. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to BeeFearless Studios for allowing me to use their space. And yeah, we're going to be back in the next one.